So hello, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about different lettering tattoo styles, so if that's something you're interested in, then keep watching. So when it comes to lettering, there's a wide range of options to cover. You have words, names, quotes, song lyrics, Bible verses. It goes on. There's a lot of words you can get tattooed on you. Most people that have a handful of tattoos usually have at least one lettering tattoo or one word tattoo. For some people, a word is their only tattoo. It could be a memorial name, it could be, a Bible verse, a song lyric, a quote, something that means something to them. I'm not going to talk about name tattoos and whether or not you should get your partner's name tattooed on you. Today we're just going to focus on the different styles that you can get these letters done in. I'm going to talk about differences in script, we'll talk about West Coast lettering, we'll talk about Old English, calligraphy, we'll talk about Gothic lettering, all that stuff. When you approach a tattoo artist with a word in mind or a name, the first question that they'll usually ask is print or cursive, or what type of font. And access to the internet has given tattoo artists a huge range of fonts to tattoo in. Back in the day, you could get a tattoo on whatever the tattoo artist could draw up. And now, since we have the ability of fonts, computers, printers, stencil printers, we have so many more options. There are three main categories of fonts that tattoos are usually done in. The first is cursive. This style of font is the most common. It can be hand-drawn, handwriting style, or more uniform. There's a possibility of a lot of deviation in this category, but this is the bread and butter of name tattoos. Since the body is fluid and curved, cursive is a choice for a lot of people. The second main category is print. Print means not connected. Old school tattoo lettering would be considered print. Not to drag the American school system or anything, but a lot of people don't really know the difference between print and cursive. Print has just as many possibilities as cursive does, but they are becoming more common among younger generations, I feel. Print tattoos are usually just one or two words or a small phrase. Not a lot of people get them as larger pieces like they do with cursive because, like I said, print has a more rigid structure, cursive has a more flowy structure. Artists might charge you a little bit more for something in print versus something in cursive because print style writing is a little bit harder to do because of the rigid shapes and uniform structure. And then the last main category that tattoos are done in is Old English or calligraphy style. Old English is a font that developed from calligraphy, but it's become really popular in the past 10 years or so, especially in the past couple years. I've seen a huge trend these past 2 years of people getting their angel numbers or birth years or their parents' birth years tattooed on them in Old English. So this is a really common font for numbers. It has a few deviations. There are also a little bit of a range of possibilities within this font category. Now let's talk about West Coast lettering or Chicano style tattoo lettering. Being a tattoo artist in California, I see a lot of this style. I really can't say if it's commonplace in other areas or other places in the US, but this is a majority of name or word tattoos that we do in the shop that I'm at. This style developed from the Chicano tattoo revolution in the 80s and 90s. It's influenced by graffiti, lowriders, and rap music. These things all coming together create this signature style for cursive tattoos. Characteristic of this style is tapered cursive writing. It can have a thick to thin transition throughout the word. This style has a few potential embellishments such as swirls, shading, powder shading, borders. Artists sometimes mix in Old English to give it more of that gangster feel. A common theme for artists of this style are calling themselves something one, such as the late Abyss one, Calm one, Case one. I don't know if that has anything to do with Chicano style or lettering specific tattoo artists, but it's just something that I noticed. I don't know if it's a thing. One of the biggest names in this style is a gentleman by the name of Big Sleeps. He developed his own ink line, has many books on lettering that he's published, and just overall has been a pioneer in the tattoo industry since he started tattooing. Case One, another artist that I just mentioned, is another artist that I look up to when it comes to the lettering style. I looked at a lot of his artwork when I was trying to teach myself how to do that lettering style. So he also just released a book called Case Files. Has a lot of great pointers and a lot of great hand-drawn fonts in there. So go ahead and check out these books or check out some of these artists if you're interested in learning more about this style. Gothic lettering. This lettering style is very distinctive and interesting to me. It has calls to Gothic architecture and sometimes has like a black metal logo aesthetic. This style is categorized as calligraphy with large, bold, tapered letters, but the letters usually have spikes or thorns coming off of them and have sort of a distressed look and like a little bit of shading behind to give it sort of like a muddying. This style is really cool to me. I actually have a tattoo in this style on my ribs. I designed it myself. I found a calligraphy font that I really liked, and then I just messed it up. I added extra spikes, extra thorns. I erased it. I distorted it over and over and over again until it became as illegible as I wanted it to be. And that's another pro or con of this style, is that sometimes it's legible and sometimes it's not. And that's definitely personal preference. I've seen a lot of this style as being like an ornamental piece, such as writing around the throat or on the fingers, on the hands, across the stomach, stuff like that. Very interesting style to me. And the last style that we're going to talk about is calligraphy. So similar to Gothic lettering, but more clean, is calligraphy lettering. Also, I have to apologize for the bandsaw in the background. They're redoing my porch, and they didn't tell me that they were doing this, and this is my only day off. Similar to Gothic lettering, but a little bit more clean, is calligraphy tattoo style. This lettering is very similar, but like I said, has a cleaner look with no spikes, no shading, no distressed edges. Some artists like to do this style with solid letters, while others leave something called rake marks from the needle using a mag. I see this style a lot around knees or elbows or joints, like shoulders. This is a very decorative style, usually being illegible by choice. In a way, this reminds me of like geometric tattooing, where it usually has a very uniform look with everything coming to a point at the center. These calligraphy mandalas have become popular outside of tattooing as well, with some studios adopting them as murals inside of their studios. I've seen other artists that are not tattooers take this style to clothing, paper, canvas, murals, etc. Old English lettering, or the branch-offs of that, would also technically be considered calligraphy, since Old English started from European calligraphy. And a little bonus subgenre, I guess, is Asian calligraphy, which is not a subgenre that I had really considered when I was researching some of these reference photos, but it makes so much sense. Calligraphy has been a major art form in China, Japan, and many East Asian countries for hundreds, probably thousands of years. Calligraphy is still a major art form in Asia, so it would make sense that people would want it tattooed. I love the way that these artists are able to incorporate the expression, the ink blots, and the characters in these tattoos. In calligraphy, there is a specific stroke order to differentiate the characters from other similar characters or other potential meanings of the same character. When practicing calligraphy or writing Hanzi, Kanji, or Hangul, the stroke order is very important. And you can see that in the tattoos, which is so cool. I also really love the calligraphy tattoos that have other characters inside of the calligraphy so that it looks like it's fabric printed. It's so cool. So yeah, just something I stumbled upon. Even in calligraphy, where I didn't think that there was that much deviation, there is still a world of deviation that I hadn't even considered. So I'm sure that there are so many other lettering types that I didn't even cover, but that just goes to show you how many options there are when it comes to getting a word tattooed on you. I hope you found this video helpful, and that the next time you approach a tattoo artist with a word in mind, you have some idea of the direction you want to go. When discussing possible fonts With an artist, please keep in mind that there's no such thing as regular font, just like there's no such thing as a regular size tattoo. There is no set regular, and so when each person thinks regular font, what I think may be wildly different than what you think. So just do a little bit of research, pull up a couple of examples of tattoos that you want, even if it's not the same word, if it's the same style that you're hoping to achieve, then let your artist know that. I have a lot of people coming to me for names or quotes, and they don't even know where to start when it comes to figuring out what type of font they want. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you liked it, feel free to check out my other videos. Okay,